And we are back again. The friendly neighborhood film watch. We are Franklin Football. I'm your host, Brandon. I got my man, Honey Grant, set it off. Chris, how are you feeling tonight?
B, I'm always honored to kick it with you, man, but I want to apologize to you.
Why is that?
Because, I got my nickname for really being not a loud guy, but just really bringing to light what need to be brought to light, man. And my boy Vosh Lombardi gave me this nickname, and I just got, I got ceremoniously tongue lashed by our good friend DMV, and Fanatic, man. Make sure you watch his content, man. And
if you're not already subscribed, please
go and check out my dude, man. So he came to me. He has much respect for me. I have much respect for him. But he gave me a quick tongue lashing, and but it was brief. You ain't gotta cut a man with a sword. You can just nick him real quick, and he'll know he's been nicked. And he said, you've been politically correct. You've been politically.
That's my job.
Correct. Yeah, that's your job. I'm the guy. I'm the guy to jump out the window. So man. Today has been one of them days.
So what you're saying is you haven't been on brand.
I ain't been me, man. I've been Christopher. I've been, we at our house there are people. We got Chris. Christopher is our corporate guy. Chris is that dude that'll get at you. And Set It Off is the dude that you grew to know and love, man. So I'm gonna get back to me, man. And it's the NBA lottery. So everybody know. Even though I live in Virginia Beach, man, and I'm a big, I'm here, great spot and everything. But I'm at heart, I'm a Charlotte, North Carolina kid, a Davidson, North Carolina kid at most. So I'm a Hornets fan. Yeah. So the lottery, listen, man, the lottery comes out tonight, and I already knew, even though we had 18% chance to get the number one pick, man, I know the
worst teams didn't even get in the top three.
Right. See what I'm saying? So I know good things don't come to us, man, unless you do something about it. So when we started off at the end of last year, I was on a flat out tirade. If Jerry Jones and Stevie Jones don't do this, I don't want to hear none of this mess you're talking about. And he was like, yo, Chris, hey, man, I don't want to hear none of that. None of that. It's Howie versus Steven. That was my hashtag. Do something, right? And so they go into free agency, and they don't wait till the last week. They did a little something, right? And then you know what I did? I went from being Set It Off to Christopher. Oh, they did something. Oh, they made it. And so now we're sitting here right now, got the first announcement of the first game of the weekend. We're going to talk about that more in depth on Wednesday when the rest of the schedule come out. Yep. But I had to ask myself, hey, you know how you had them self-talks where you say, hey, Chris, let me ask you a question. Huh? Do you really think they ready and they done enough? And man, let's be flat out honest, man. I don't think they done enough, yo.
Explain why.
Okay. I'm glad you asked, my boy. My problem was this. To be ready, you have to pull all levers on everything that it takes to be ready to play championship football. Yep. You got to stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. And so what's ended up happening is that they made a few moves here. Okay, they get a Javonte Williams. They go get turn around and get a Miles Sanders. They go and get a linebacker from Chicago who I can't even remember his name off the top of my head. They go get the Murray kid, the linebacker out of Tennessee. And I'm like, they doing something. Oh, they go get Elam, and okay, he's a nice little piece, and I'm like, okay, and again they went and got my man off the couch who needed to pay rent, as a backup guy, and I'm like,
Sadiq Charles.
Yeah, Sadiq, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting here like, all right, they've done enough, and then they go have a good draft, right? But they turned around and did what I asked them to do first and foremost. They pulled the triggers on the contracts they needed to pull. And yet and still, we sitting here about to go into OTAs, the first set of OTAs, with $37 million in the cookie.
Yeah.
In the pot.
Ain't spent a dime of it, right?
Ain't spent a dime. Acting like they waiting for a rainy day. When, in all honesty, it's been pouring out in this heifer for the last 30 years. Go make the moves that need to be made. So what's the first trigger I always say you got to do?
Got to sign Mike.
Go sign Mike, man. Sign Mike. Get that over with. Stop playing with it. And my problem is these guys are going to get the Todd Francis. I don't know the agent's name. David
Mulligetta.
Yeah, there you go, Mulligetta. Okay, learn them folks' names. Be work with them, talk to them, because you're gonna have to deal with them anyway. If you've already made a silent, hey, this is what we're gonna do deal, but Mike had done told you point blank, I'm not signing unless my agent know about it. Cut the bullshit, man. Go and get that man the contract and get it over with. Because that frees up, if you sign him $15 million this year alone, right? You got an all-pro left side player. I prefer him at left guard. Other people want him at left tackle. Leave him on the left side and just get him signed. Start the process on that, get that out the way, right?
Absolutely.
Now, I understand, some people want to do other things. You make Pickens play it out. All right, I can understand that. I don't 100% agree with it. But if you're going to be able to get a year, go ahead. But here's my problem. Go add to the rooms where you have questions.
Rooms such as?
Hey, man. Like I said, man, the more politically correct side of me was like, oh, we're good to go into the season with Jaden Blue and just go ahead and go with him and Phil Maffa and all these other people. Instead of going ahead and spending $3 million and go and get Nick Chubb and find out what's going on. The reason I feel like that is because you spent $6 million last year for a dude you knew was broken down.
Yeah.
You knew full damn well he was done. And you paid him $6 million. You really paid him $9 million because you owed him.
I was about to say they
paid
him more because he was still on the books for his previous contract.
He was on the books. He was already on the books $9-10 million. And I'm not going against that brother getting his money. Go get every last penny you gotta go get. The goal is to get to 8. Okay? As an NFL player, your goal is to get to 8. If you ain't if you're a first rounder, no matter first or second rounder, no matter what, get to 8. Get the generational wealth changing money. So if that's the case, go do it. Pay that man off and get it out the books. But you got a guy who's 2 years removed from his last injury, right? In a Nick Chubb. Proven guy, did have a horrific knee injury at Georgia. We all football heads, we watched it. He came back and he was productive. But I think if you're saying my offensive line is going to be better, right? My offensive line is going to be better, and I have young guys in my stable. Let's be honest. My future is not laid upon Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders at all. To be totally honest with you, Jaden Blue this year and Phil Maffa this year does not stop me from going to getting another running back in the 4th or 5th round next year. All right,
and that has to be the case. Most of the Cowboys free agent signings have you feeling that way anyway. Most of this year, the Cowboys made moves that allowed them to just pick the best player, and that's what they did.
Right.
So that should be how they operate every single year.
Especially with a team that likes to draft and develop and get a lot of 1-year deals or maybe 1 to 2 year deals where they have the option on the second year, right? Across the board, that's where we're at. Across the board. So if we're that way, then go make the move and go better that room, because if that room is above average to elite, that takes all the pressure off the one guy that you have no leverage on at all, and he's going to be here for the next 2-3 years. Ryan Dakota Prescott.
Yeah.
We just watched the football team deal with a guy in most circles believe he is an underwhelming passer. Okay. He's not a prolific guy, but with time he can make throws. Am I correct? So if I got a guy who I know can make throws, that I know has been a great passer of the football, why not take the burden off of him having an above average to elite running game? Because they had an elite running game, which are an improved offensive line, and that gives your defense the time to dictate what they want to do. Yeah. It's better to be the pursuer than being chased. That makes sense? So why not get that room to its best ability and season a little veteran leadership in there with some guys who've had, some things they kind of seen the end of the road, and they were to the point like, hey, okay, they don't want me anymore, but this is what I do, and I can help these young guys get better at it. Because let's be honest, if I bring in a Nick Chubb now, right?
I feel like Nick Chubb at least gives you the hope that the run could be better. You know, I feel like guys like Javonte Williams, like Miles Sanders, Deuce Vaughn, Hunter Lipke, those are guys who what's
Man,
what's
go
the
on,
best way
say
to
man.
say this?
No, man,
They
man.
moving the needle. I don't think that anybody is
They don't
fearing
move it
any
at
of those
all.
guys. I don't think that anybody's fearing any of those guys.
No,
first at least gives you the
go ahead.
hope that your running back room could be prolific because you've seen him.
There you go.
You've seen him ball out in Cleveland of all places. You've seen him ball out in Cleveland. So if he can get back to 80% of what he was,
right,
he could be close to a 5-yard or more running back.
So if he can be closer to what he was before the injury, let's say he gets to 80% and he becomes a 4 or 5 yard runner, and then he's able to be handcuffed with a Jaden Blue, right? And then you make these other guys fight for their football lives. We keep saying throw the pool stick out there. The pool stick need to be thrown between Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams.
And I'll say this stuff. Just because even if you sign Nick Chubb for an approved deal, which would be, like you said, probably about 3 or 4, he doesn't necessarily have to have a spot cemented on that roster. You're just bringing him in for the hope at the position. You know,
you
can't stop. You can't stop.
I've exhausted all options. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while because you happily married to say the least. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time since I've been to the club. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I'm exhausting all options. The lights is about to come on, dog. I gotta go talk to the super thick chick in the corner, man, and try to make it work, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh shit, I don't want to go home, but that's what I gotta do.
Yeah.
So let me exhaust every option I have available to me. You know what I'm saying? So I can go win. And,
For sure.
and you have to do that because you can't keep saying, oh well, or this is the pie. I mean, I caught myself with we got so much pie. Damn that pie. You got $37 million in the cookie, and the money keep going up every year. We ain't getting to the point where the salary cap gonna keep going up because you have got the one thing in America that never fails 24/7: football, American football on Sundays, on Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Whenever you put it on, we gonna watch it, no matter what.
The thing that frustrates me about all of this, you know, and kind of keeping in vein of the title of this video, have they done enough? If the Cowboys choose to sign Micah Parsons, that frees up like $15 million in cap space. So that allows you to then attempt to make a move on Tyler Smith, attempt to make a move on DeRon Bland, attempt to make a move on George Pickens. The dominoes fall, man, and it could be a multiplicative step process.
Oh my gosh! Oh man, T.I. word today.
Yeah, man. The benefits, man. The benefits are. It goes up and up.
Through the roof to go and do everything to be to the point that when you look in the check, I know everybody want to be safe. Some people like to go ahead and say, "Oh, I don't want to live check." That's the goal. But when
you talk about billionaires, though, Chris,
come on, man. Right? Come on, and when you got the money, you gonna rake in from all the different things the money you gonna make on the overshown zero jersey is gonna be insane when he come back. Money ain't money.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna get one.
It's gonna be fire. I don't care what nobody said. Everybody has said to themselves, "Hey, man, if I won the lottery, this is what I do." Right? You got $37 million in the bucket. What will you not do to end this? I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. If you get to 19 games, you get to the NFC Championship. You bring back.
You made that money back. You made that
money back, hand over fist, because we all the way in. And that's what I'm saying. Or have we done enough? And I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm gonna start being emphatic about saying it's still Jerry versus Roseman, because the game we sitting here talking about, and you know that fan base over there. I don't like giving too much credence. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of them is little basement dwellers with tighty whities. They don't even wear boxers. You know what I'm saying? And aluminum foil in their head. But those cats, man. We're trash. Listen, at the end of the day, man, we all know a healthy 4 is a threat, no matter what. So we're gonna get to that later. But so on the offensive side, you got to go sign Nick Chubb. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
or at least a running back with some sort of status.
But running
back with some sort of status. Nick Chubb is just a name that we bring out.
But I think he's the guy you can go get for what if you're we are a draft and develop franchise. That's what we do. That's how we get down. So if we're gonna draft and develop, if I turn around this year and I put Phil Maffa on the practice squad, hey man, let's see if somebody come take him.
Yeah.
let's see somebody gonna take him. If they do, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that that's the issue. I think he needs a whole nother year to get healthy, get that shoulder right, start learning some different things, and seeing a professional. Like I said, it's always good for a young player to see a guy that's done it before. I always go back to say, well, my kid, when he went to college, he went into a room where there were 4 guys, right? And all 4 of those guys went to the league. Every last one of them went to the league.
Absolutely. and so here's the thing. DMV is in our chat box right now, right? Salute to you, sir. Salute to you. He said Chubb brings what we said our identity would be. And I can appreciate that statement, because if you said you want to be a disciplined, ground and pound oriented team, who to do better than that than Nick Chubb? You know?
And Shotty gonna hang his hat on that. Shotty done told you in several interviews, hey, I hang my hat on when I was the OC, I was number 1 or number 2, or I was in the top 5 and run the football. So he had already told you, I'm going to run the football. So if I'm going to run the football, but I got a quarter, and we all know Rain is better at 25 to 30 passes a game. We all, the stats are out there. 25 to 30 pass attempts for him, he's cooking. So if we know that, then go get a guy behind a good to above average offensive line. That we don't have, and then go ahead and run him. And then that way you can save guys' legs. Because let's say if Nick is good, he's looking like Nick Chubb of Cleveland before the injury, 10 weeks into the season, right? I still got 9 to 10 more games I'm trying to play. You see what I'm saying? So I can go I can pull Maffa in and start pulling his snaps back. I can get Jaden Blue and start doing that. That was the one thing that Detroit did last year, and I've often praised them for doing that with Montgomery and Gibbs, is that Montgomery was doing his thing, and then when he got banged up, Gibbs was able to carry the load down the stretch.
Stepped right in. That's
what he stepped right in, because he had the times to see it and things of that nature. So why not do the same thing for this offense? If put Jaden Blue, put Phil Maffa, put Phil Maffa and Miles Sanders, because let's this is one I'm when I'm stealing, I'm gonna let you know. Boss Cowboy and DMV did a live stream before we came on, and I almost seen DMV cuss. It was hilarious to me. I almost seen him cuss on screen. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, "You ain't gonna tell me that Miles Sanders was so prolific that he couldn't get cut from Carolina when they had a dude that had a knee that didn't even know what he was going to do." You're
talking about the Texas back who probably won't play this year, right?
I'm talking about Jonathan Brooks, who has not played an NFL snap yet.
Oh, no, he probably won't play this upcoming year due to the injury.
He's not going to play this coming year for injury. So if he couldn't keep and stay in Carolina, why the hell we gonna sit up here right now act like he's immovable? He can't be replaced. That's crazy. That's madman talk. So let's be honest with ourselves. We haven't done enough in the running back room. We jumped up and down, screamed, hollered, and said, "Hey, we didn't do enough in the wide receiver room." They went and made a move. They were on top of that the whole time, from the draft. After the draft, they made a move. Boom. Now you made that move, and you think you got us quiet, and we can't be quiet. It's Jerry versus is Steven versus Roseman. They got to make a move, and you go make a move and upgrade on the offensive side. The defensive side of the football, you have been, and you've been, your normal, mild-mannered corporate self.
What I do.
See, that's the beautiful part about it. You're the corporate guy. I'm the guy who ran his own business. I don't give a damn. You're like, hey, we kind of got it. So let's look at the defensive side of the ball. The guy you've been on quietly but consistently has been Mozzie Smith. You've been on Mozzie. You've been on Mozzie.
See, Chris, I hold grudges, Chris.
Oh no, we know that.
I am not forgiving if somebody is not in my good graces. You feel me? And Mozzie Smith has been in my crosshairs
for quite some time. Long time. Long time. So if you're gonna go and help them, and I always love an opportunity to shout out the GOAT, Jeff Heath, always, forever in our hearts. Amen. But I always say Jeff Heath was great because he was steady. And Jeff is great when you kept Jeff at all of his special team snaps and 25 to 30 snaps on defense. Snap 31, Jeff was cheeks.
Yeah.
Jeff was terrible. But that's where we're at. So I'm sitting here saying right now, you brought it and you did the same thing on the defense side. Oh, we brought in Solomon Thomas. Solomon Thomas ain't been no world beater nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere he's not been a world beater. So if you turn around and go get a guy out there on the street, and I think we looked at him last year. I wanted Hargrove. He ended up going. We didn't get him. I said, all right, you know, maybe. And then we turn. But there's DJ Reader is out there.
Yeah,
just been released, and you bring that guy in to this room, and that room goes from below average, right, to above average instantaneously. Because of the bodies you'll have in the room, as well as the experience, because you're still going to have to bring along those 2, 6, 5th, and 6th, 7th round draft picks. Because here's the one thing we all know, and we have to admit it. Playing defensive tackle in the NFL is hard. Yeah. It's not something that guys roll out the bed and they're able to do it at a high level out the gate. That's not. So we know that it's a third-year move for Mozzie. He made steps. He made strides. He looked a lot better. You think he didn't? I think he did. That's debatable. But there's enough film studies out there for enough people who've looked at it and say, hey, Mozzie's done this, he's done that. But I truly believe until Mozzie turns the corner and proves it, I need to keep bringing another guy that can take big snaps from him. Yeah. I like Solomon Thomas as a backup to Osa. I need somebody who can back up Mozzie. And if DJ Reader is out there, because it ain't like you ain't got the money. If you get him on a 2-year deal, you're fine. You're good. 2-year deal with the option. Give him some money up front and go forward from there. If you bring Reader in, that defensive tackle room goes boof, just goes straight through the roof. Because you don't know if somebody's gonna get hurt, somebody gonna get nicked, and if you're playing inside, you inside there having car crashes all day, and it's bound to happen. But it also gives another veteran to show these guys how to be pros. Yeah, shows them all how to be pros.
And it's not like you just got to be stuck on DJ Reader. Dude from the Colts, I think, is still a free agent. What's his name? Davis.
Okay.
Raekwon Davis. There we go.
Okay.
He's still a free agent. I think that. Like you got to give Mozzie more competition than one guy, because if there's 2 guys and both of them feel like, okay, we both gonna make this roster, the attitude of, all right, man, we could just coast through this thing, you know, so whoever wins the battle wins, kind of can set an attitude of complacency, if you will. And there has to be a lot of competition, so somebody gets uncomfortable, so their shoulders start rubbing together. You like, all right, give me my space. And I don't think that Mozzie Smith has that right now. It's sure he's their first-round pick, and first-round picks generally get 3 chances, right? But if your first-round pick ain't first-round picking, then he got to get the getting, you know? And Go ahead.
No, I'm listening. Go ahead. You cooking. Okay. Go ahead.
If your first-round pick isn't giving you sufficient value, then you got to go another direction. You have to go another direction, and I don't feel like they've sufficiently done that with Mozzie Smith. Partly out of fairness to him being the first-round pick, and the Cowboys do have that loyalty there. But we'll see if that changes by camp.
I think what ended up happening, I think they didn't expect Hankins to really. I think they got like 2 years out of Hankins, and then Hankins
two good years. Two good years out of Hankins,
and he fell off the cliff. But Mozzie having more opportunities to play last year, he did improve. He improved by leaps and bounds. He did. But to still give him another guy that can spell him and teach him more about this one tech, and being that guy, I don't think you do him a disservice. You do him a disservice by not going to get him an adequate handcuff. I just believe you got to do that.
Do you think that he's? Do you think that he would benefit more from having a vet back there who can kind of teach him the game?
Absolutely. Listen. Hey man. It's a family show, so I'm gonna say iron sharpens irons as another man sharpens another man's countenance. I get better by talking to cats like you. I get better by listening to all the people out there. I get better by doing that. I don't get better if I'm alone by myself. And so, like you just said it, if I'm sitting in the room by myself and I see there's no way I can lose this job, hey man, you take the foot off the gas, man.
Absolutely.
You take
Absolutely.
And
he's already the type of player that hasn't responded well to adversity, you know?
Yeah, and I truly believe that. But I also believe that if he's in a room with guys who are pushing and fighting and scratching and clawing to get there, he's gonna push himself to get better. You see what I'm saying? The guys that came out of Michigan, right? People were like, okay, Mozzie's good, but these two other guys, and both of them guys went high in the draft because they was in there pushing him to be better.
Talking about Mason Graham and them.
Absolutely. You turn around, you look at the kid, we got Tommy Alphabet. I can't even pronounce his last name, right? But he had another guy next to him who was a defensive tackle, was just as good and went higher drafted than him. You see what I'm saying? So it's always to the point you gotta have another guy you sit there and say, you know what? I'm trying to beat this guy. He's my teammate, but I'm pushing to get.
But he's my competition. He's my teammate, but he's my competition.
He's my competition. And right now, there is no competition inside that one tech room for him to push himself with. There is none. There is none. Solomon Thomas done made his money, gonna get his last couple of pennies in the NFL and move on and go be a congressman or have a mortgage company. He done. He gonna do what he gotta do to be able to do to get practice. I'm gonna get my couple snaps. I'll go. But Mozzie is on year 3, and Mozzie's got to fight for his football life.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, if he fights for his football life, you'll see. You're gonna see the best out of those wide receivers in that room because they know they fighting for their football life. Jalen Brooks, Jalen Tolbert, every last one of them fighting for their football life. They gonna come Flournoy. You're gonna be like, God damn, Flournoy is getting after it. Yeah, because he know.
And let me explain why. Let me explain why.
Yeah.
Prior to the Mingo trade, you had guys that were fighting for that wide receiver 2 spot, and as a result, there was also a fight for that wide receiver 3 spot. You know what I'm saying? Now it's just wide receiver 3, and then the rest of the guys, I figure out if you're gonna make the roster or not. There's a whole lot less comfort now that there's some open competition. And think about how I just compared that to the Mozzie Smith situation. Now shoulders are rubbing. You got the room is this tight, and somebody gonna have to get kicked out.
Somebody gotta go. You know,
and so that is either gonna foster better competition or show you who's the weak one in the room.
Absolutely, and what you have at stake as the Dallas Cowboys, you cannot allow that to be in the room to feel like it's how it is. Like I said, and people know my son played Division I football. Okay, but and no matter how great he was in high school and things of that nature, I'm always looking like who they bringing in the room, who they bringing in the room, because they need to bring in guys who gonna push you to be better. So when a guy come up or he in the portal, he come in, I'm looking like, hey, he can do this. Hey, he can do that. Hey, you got to step this up because you were fighting for your football life. They trying to bring somebody in every day to take your job. When you drop your kid off at a school, the coach says, hey, we're glad you're here. We're glad you made the decision to be here. But my goal is to find somebody to take your job tomorrow. Yeah. That's my job because I have to keep making us and getting us better. And so me knowing that, me understanding that if I can leave my child in a place and expect that to be, why the heck I can't demand that of my daggone football team? Absolutely. The team that I've been rocking with for 30 years, win, no matter what. They've been good. They've been good since all my hair on my face was black. You know what I'm saying? They've been elite. So all the hair, I was just rocking waves when it was real good. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going all national, but that's how long I've been rocking with this thing, man. My children, none of my children have seen them be good. None of my kids have seen them go to the Super Bowl. My kids like, dadgum, he like them. I don't even know why he like them because they ain't never been damn good. So I'm saying, go and exhaust all options to get to that point.
Absolutely. Now, do you feel like the Cowboys have done enough at linebacker?
I like everything. I like what they've done at linebacker. Now, unless you got another name that you're gonna be able to put out there, but I like Louis Fowl. I like Keith Murray. Yeah, Kenneth Murray. Yeah, it's Keith Murray, right? It's Keith Murray. Kenneth. Okay, yeah, Keith Murray. He would R. Kelly. Talking about drinks in the air, party everywhere. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. That's my guy. But but Kenneth Murray, I like him. I like the Sanborn kid. I think he's going to be able to flow, and we're trusting the coaching of Eberflus and what he's been able to do with linebackers. Let's be honest. When Eberflus has had adequate talent in line, he's made some guys prolific. So I like that. If you go get another guy, you got the one kid who we drafted. He's a special teams guy. His trigger isn't as fast as we wanted with diagnosing things of that nature. So if you want to go get another guy and bring him into camp, I don't have a problem with that. But I don't want to bring a camp body. I want a guy who can really push the room. You got any suggestions on that, big dog?
So I ain't got the answer yet. I haven't looked deep enough into the remaining free agents, right?
Okay.
But I since last year, I said, man, I don't feel too good about this linebacker room. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you've always been on that because you're not fond of people who get hurt, man. I'm glad I ain't never got hurt where my vocal cords or something went down and I couldn't talk because I don't know if you bring me back, dog. I don't know if you give your boy a chance.
But the reason I say that is because we're stuck in a position where with multiple positions on this team, you just got to pretend the guy don't exist, right? Right now, we got to pretend that DeMarvin Overshown don't exist. You know what I'm saying? We got to pretend like Sam Williams don't exist until he can prove that he, you know what I'm saying? And it goes from various positions. And I'm not sure if you can go to another stopgap situation like we did with Eric. Who was the linebacker that we had last year? We got
Kendricks. I like
Kendricks.
I like Kendricks. I think I like what Kendricks brought, but I think you upgraded in that situation where you got Kendrick, who was older. You saw he was kind of like done. I think Murray's going to be able to be good. I think the Sanborn kid is going to be really, really good. I think he's going to be like the Vaughn kid that the Eagles picked up last year, a guy who was kind of underrated. People hadn't seen him play, and then he gets an opportunity, he shines, and that's fine. But I just think, I know you're not a fond of the one linebacker we got, the one that had the bad neck from LSU. I know you're not. Yeah, I can see it. That's how much I don't think of him because I can't never remember.
My thing about Damone Clark is like, and I've always said this since I scouted him and coming into the pros, I always see the wheels turning. I can see his process, and that means that he's going too slow. Yeah, I can see Damone Clark's process, and he's going too slow. Jack Sanborn might start over Damone Clark. He might be ahead of Damone Clark in the depth chart.
Yeah, he might be, but I think so. If you're going with that, I'm always going back to the point where you still have to use. You're going to run 2, maybe 3, but the thing about it, the guy who's always never going to leave the field, is Micah. So I always put him in the linebacker room. People try to put him in defensive end. He's my piece, so I can move him all over the board.
If they did him like that, if they chose to manifest his skills in that way, I would be right there with you. I accept that Micah Parsons is an edge rusher now. I accept it. That don't mean that I agree with it. I would love for him to be all over the field. Year 1, Micah Parsons covered a wide receiver going down the field, man.
And that's what
we haven't seen that since. I would love for him to be able to be that versatile. I would love it. But that's just not where he wants to go for his paycheck, and where they see him going.
Well, the paycheck's already solidified. We already know he's going to be the highest non-quarterback paid player in the history of the game. Let's just go and get that out the way. But what I want to do so that I can have him, I need him, and we've said this on previous videos. I need him September Micah in December and January. That's what I need. So for me to do that, I've got to move him around across the board where he's not going against 6'7", 6'8", 300-pound tackles that get to daggum choke him, and the refs look at it and don't call it. Let me put him on a guard where he can whoop his ass and get through, and they're gonna maybe call that. But I've seen too many times when he's been outside with a tackle round his neck, choking him like he's trying to throw him out the club. He's trying to and he's not getting the flag. So for the betterment of him, I don't want to see him nicked up with an arm, with something on his arm, in a club. So let me move him around, and and then that gives other guys the opportunity to fight for their lives. I think Nealon is locked in. I think Izaraku is going to be a dog. I
believe so. I definitely believe so.
Izaraku, the combination of Fowler and Izaraku is going to be a problem. I don't care what nobody say. And you see what I'm saying? Inside of that room, they went and put a guy who's a veteran that can teach some guys how to be pros. You see what I'm saying? Sam Williams got to sit in that room, and then when Dante Fowler said, "Hey man, why is your goofy ass doing this kind of dumb stuff?" See, you need that.
But also, here's the thing: There's open, once again, the same way that they did that in the wide receiver room. There's open competition in there. Sam Williams always been a 4-sack guy, alongside having that off the field stuff. You know, can't drive slower. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So now that this coaching staff has brought in a guy early, things got to get uncomfortable for Sam. Dante Fowler was just, I think, a 10-sack guy in Washington. He might not be there here. He might not be there here, and that's okay. But that brings in uncomfortable competition for Sam Williams.
Bro. You know, we used to say this about Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory could fall out the bed and get you 5 sacks. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And we always hoped that he would turn into that guy. We can say with complete, utter objectivity, but complete conviction, Dante Fowler gonna fall out the bed and get you 8 sacks. He gonna get you. Right. But if I have him in that room with a young Izaraku, if I have him in a room and I gotta prove it to save my football life, Sam Williams, if I have that kind of guy in that room, then I can start doing some different things. I can bring him in situationally, or I'm doing this, or I can play games with him and Mike on one side, and I got Neal on the other side. So I'm just saying, bring another guy in every room on this football team. You brought a guy in to be able to challenge or be better than the guys who are already there. You got to do that. You got to do it in the D-tackle room, and you must do it in the running back room.
Absolutely. And I like that they did that for the cornerback room. I feel like the rooms where they are fostering the spirit of competition is the rooms where they did enough. They did this for the cornerback room. They brought in Kyer Elam. They brought in Siobhan Revel in the draft. They brought in what's the other kid's name? Undrafted dude. I forget his name. But they brought in guys as well.
Oh, you talking about the safety from Kentucky?
Yeah.
I mean, you brought some guys in who are going to be able to challenge in certain areas. But none of those undrafted guys have turned my lights on to the point where I feel like they're gonna take somebody's spot somewhere else. But we hope they do
hold
that.
on. There's a spot that was left open because Jay Lou's gone. So they're fighting among themselves. If you just brought in Kyer Elam and didn't draft Siobhan Revel, Kyer Elam could get complacent. Now that you got a day 2 pick behind him, who could have been a day 1 pick if he was healthy.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That makes him want to work that much harder, especially since he's a previous first-round pick who didn't work out in his first location.
Yeah,
if you thought he was hungry just by being brought to a new city, that man must be starving after this. That man must be starving after the Siobhan Revel pick. I feel like they did enough for that second corner spot. And guess who else it hopefully will bring more out of? Kalen Carson.
Yeah, I think you want to do that too. I mean, like I said, the thing with Diggs being out does make it to the point you're trying to figure out who's going to be your top 3 or 4 guys. So you definitely want to be able to do it. And you kind of want to put people in certain spots because you really want – because me personally, I don't want Bland outside. I love Bland inside. I think he's more of a game wrecker as a slot guy. And if I can trust Carson, if I can trust Elam outside, if I can trust Revel can get back and give me enough snaps, but maybe I do need to get another guy or one of these other the Thomas kid who the one who was coming off injury. Golly.
Previous Cowboy or
no, he's a Cowboy now. The one that he ended up getting hurt.
Oh man, I know who you're talking about. Wyatt.
Yeah. No, not Wyatt. It's Josh.
Thomas kid.
No, Josh Butler. That's his name.
Oh, okay.
Josh Butler. You think we forget about him? Like you have a propensity to act like guys aren't there. I'm telling you, there are guys there inside the building who can be able to play. So I think it's a lot of unproven guys, and guys got to step up. But at the end of the day, man, I still don't think we've done enough. I still think we got the June 1 stuff. You got another right now. You got another 15 days. You need to make another move. You got to make another move to be ready to go into camp in July and say, okay, this is what we're doing. I don't think we've done enough yet. We've done a lot more than we did when we were all in, when we were quote unquote all in.
And that's funny. That's funny. If we not all in this year, then
right.
Then last
Last year they didn't. They didn't.
If this is how we do when we not all in, I don't want them to go all in there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. So that's my biggest thing, man. Yeah. That's all I got. You got anything else, bro?
On this subject, no. I do want to talk about that week 1 opening a little bit. Okay. So it's not necessarily a rumor. The NFL came out and said it on their official pages that the opening game for the season will be the Eagles against the Cowboys on Thursday night. But it's going to be on the Sunday Night Football station. Like, it's not going to be on Amazon Prime and stuff. So in the spirit of kind of what we were saying earlier, do you think that the Cowboys have done enough to give you some hope in that game? What you think? Because I just want you to give just enough to give a little taste. Maybe make the gums go numb a little bit.
Hey man, I'm gonna cut the bag over for you. But like, man, my thing is, I got the knife out. I'm gonna cut the product. It's gonna be 100% pure. I'm always gonna be on this. In 4, I trust. In 4, when I have a healthy 4, right, and I can keep him upright, I'm able to beat anybody. That's the one thing I always will hold tried and true. His record against the NFC is unprecedented. Yep. He is who he is. Okay, and it's not about the bright lights or anything like that. Man, I've said this on Twitter. Rain Dakota Prescott is the ultimate hold my beer guy. He's the guy that's gonna say, "Oh yeah, let me go show you this." That's who he is. So, with that being said, man, right now I've got enough people I can go play a game. I can go do that right now. Yeah. Well, I think by the time we get there, and if I go ahead and make the necessary moves that we've talked about, that the Cowboy content creators that's willing to call people out or willing to make, I think we'll be more than able to go play. Because let's be totally honest with you, they hung in games with Cooper Rush, man. Yeah. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? If I can hang in games with this team, that's this juggernaut team with Cooper Rush and a makeshift offensive line, right? I definitely believe if I get the law firm in there, Tyler and Tyler, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Tyler Cooper and Tyler, I'm fine. If I'm elite guard, center guard, I can make it work. People are playing for their lives this year, bro. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, Terrence Steele is not safe. Tyler Guyton is not safe. Yeah. Dude, it's only like 5 guys on offense that are safe. Everybody else, dude, I'm cracking the pool stick, yo. Yeah, I get tryouts. Okay, defense, same thing. It's probably maybe 3, 4, maybe safe. So if I got questions across the board, can I compete? Absolutely. If I got 4 on my side, I'll take him anywhere. And Jason Garrett turn. We can play at home. We can play here. We can play there. We can play in the street. We can play anywhere. As long as I got 4, I'm good. I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
I agree, and the reason for that is because when Dak plays the Eagles, they generally don't win. Like for example, Jalen Hurts has never won a game against the Cowboys when Dak has played. And this is not even about the win or loss. I think that the reason that the NFL put that game first is because Jalen and Dak don't really play all that often. One of the teams has their guy out, so I think that is a reason why that game went first instead of like a rematch of like a playoff game or things like that. But yeah, man, I definitely think that as long as Dak is upright, we stand a chance. Much more so than like when we had like Cooper Rush most of last year. I didn't feel comfortable in none of those games, right? Long as Dak is starting, I feel like we got a chance. Right. I'm not gonna get too deep into it because the schedule gets released on Wednesday. I gotta save some of that content. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like we save it, man. As long as our starting quarterback is in there.
We definitely do, man. We definitely do, man. So I'm glad we get this a division because see, we never have a problem with a division game if we play the Giants first game.
Well, absolutely.
Oh, great. We happy like a pig in slop. Now let's go ahead and deal with the dude that's on my block who try to take my bike. Some days I take his, some days he take mine. But he's gonna be formidable, and it shows me where I'm at. And so I'm just ready to get it on, man. I'm ready to get it on. Find out what it's gonna be a great weekend for me. I get to deal with coming back after I watch my Hokies with South Carolina. I'm saying it on tape. I've been saying it where I can, and then I get to come back and I get to watch. I get to watch my Cowboys, beat the Eagles, man. And it's just gonna be an exciting game. So I'm excited about it, bro. I'm excited about it. Can't wait. But we got that game, and we got 16 other games that we're gonna break down here on Wednesday. And talk about the schedule release, man. I want you to do one thing, man, bro. Give definitely, man. If y'all kicking with us from this time frame, we appreciate it, man, because we scratching, fighting, clawing to show that we're able to be with these big dogs out here. But man, go look at all the Cowboy content creators, man. There's so many. They do such a great job, man. Show them some love, show them some respect. Give them 20, 30 minutes of your time. Listen to what they're saying. Some of them you're gonna like, man. Some of them you're not gonna like, man. But at least give them some respect, especially if you're a Cowboys fan, and to give an ear to what they're talking about, man. That's definitely what I'm on, man. And also, man, shout and man, send prayers up for Henry Milton, man. Former Cowboy, former Bear. His mom passed away.
Oh man.
And then he also had heart surgery, had heart surgery, so he's dealing with that, man. Send prayers up to him, man. It don't cost you nothing, man, to bow your head, man, and ask God to look out for somebody else, man. So definitely do that this week, man. Shout out, man, to my boy DMV. He back strong, man. And we got some more people coming up. I talked to my girl Stargazer earlier, man. She said she had a lot going on with work life and stuff. Like she barely gonna get some stuff out, but she's gonna come on. We definitely about to get my boy John Herndon on here, man. Ace Boone Cone. We're gonna definitely get DMV, man, because he's one of the originals to kick it with us, man. So keep rocking with us, man. Keep looking for the content, man. Keep liking it, keep commenting, keep subscribing, man. We just want everybody to come rock with us, man, because we are Frankly Football, man.
So if you stuck around with us for this 46 minutes, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Today, comment your favorite fruit. If you just want to comment something basic, comment your favorite fruit. I prefer pineapples myself.
Okay.
Absolutely. Hey man, look, if I just want people to comment, man. That'll get us in the algorithm more,
I got you, man.
If you say, hey man, the old Chris is finally back, great. Hey man, I like Brandon's hat collection. I think I got like 4 new hats coming.
That's what's up.
I'm becoming a hat guy now, Chris.
Okay.
But most of all, just check us out consistently. We go try and get stuff in every day. Obviously we didn't do stuff yesterday because it was Mother's Day. Had to pay the respect to the matriarchs of our life, right?
Yeah, doing that. Yeah, we're doing all that. So it's all good, man. But we will be back on Wednesday, man, and do our thing, man. This is my right hand man, my ace Boone, man. I won't go to the war without him, with nobody else, man. And we will forever together be Frankly Football, man. Until next time.
Peace.